Okay, guys, just a quick another little video. Um, Getting that message from the 12-year-old really stirred up some emotions with me. And just wanted to share a couple of little things of what it was like going to school as a young adolescent. And I remember, I want to say 7, 8 years old. Everybody stood in the morning. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America. That whole speech. Monica was instructed to sit in her seat. Do not participate. Just sit in your seat. Very respectfully, but sit in your seat. Do not stand. Just sit in your seat. And I remember being 8 years old and having all the other students look at me. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you getting up? How dare you? And at 8 years old, I had no clue why I was supposed to sit down while everybody else was standing up. No clue. So I'm sitting there, and these kids are making snide remarks at me. What's wrong with you? And I'm sitting there, and I don't understand why. Now, again, my parents should have instructed me. This is why you're doing this, Monica. But my parents didn't do that. And if my parents didn't do that, I'm surmising that maybe other children's parents didn't do that for them as well. So we're subjected, these children are being subjected to, not all of them, but I'm speaking of my personal experience. I'm just supposed to sit there, not have any idea why I'm sitting there. Later on, it was that we were instructed that we could stand now out of respect because we got so much blowback, the children, from sitting. So we were instructed to stand, but do not salute and do not put your heart there because you are pledging your allegiance to the beast. So we stood there. Now in school, Jehovah's Witness children are strongly discouraged from being involved in any extracurricular activities. And as a kid, I've always been sort of the creative type. I love to sing, I love to dance, I love to act. I wanted to be in all of that in school. And I was a little bit on the thick side, so I had these big old thighs, and the band instructors would always say, you know, they wanted the young women that had them big old legs, and I had them legs, and I wanted to do it so bad. I had my twirling down, and I was ready to go. I was, oh, I'm going to do this. And my mama said, that's worldly. Jehovah don't like that. Well, Mama, can I be in drama at school? No, because you're going to be around worldly people. Okay. Couldn't do anything because we would be around worldly people. And let me go back to this, the whole Christmas thing. I remember, again, around 8, 9 years old, they were doing the gift exchange. Everybody, you know, put your name, and you picked a name, and whoever's name you picked, you bought a present for them. Well, my teacher didn't know that I was one of Jehovah's Witnesses, and my mom didn't tell her at the beginning of the year, and I didn't tell her either. So I'm included in this group, and for the first time I get to participate, you know, with the other kids. And then I picked this name, and I'm thinking all of a sudden, I have to get a gift. How am I going to get a gift without my mom knowing? So what Monica did, went in the bathroom and found a bottle of Old Spice aftershave cologne of my dad's that was almost gone. And I couldn't give him a gift that was almost gone. So I filled it with water. And I brought that to school. wrapped it up as pretty as I could in a box with construction paper, and I brought that in. And I remember when this young man opened his gift, he looked at it. First he said, "Ooh, I got some Old Spice." And then he opened it and he looked at it and he says, "What is this?" And then all the other kids started laughing and saying, "It looks like she got that out of the garbage and filled it with water and gave it to you." And it was the truth. Not out the garbage. I got it out of my dad's dressing area. But, and I was laughed at. And they said, "What is it, Monica? You're so poor. You had to go dig a bottle out the garbage." You know, I was just absolutely mortified. Now, I understand, again, you know, as an adult now, why my parents didn't want us to celebrate the holidays. And I don't celebrate Christmas today because of that, because I did my own research about the origins of Christmas and all the symbolism that goes with it. And it's just not for me. I don't want anything to do with it. But as a child, that was difficult, going into the school situation and not fully understanding why I was doing what I was doing. I was just sent out there just to kind of figure it out. What else can I share about what it was like being in school as a Jehovah's Witness? Oh, prom. Never went to a prom. Never went to any of the dances. Never went to anything that the school had. Normal milestones that most kids go through, your junior prom and your senior prom and the school dances and homecoming and all of that, just to kind of connect with your peers and make memories and things. And we were not allowed to do that because they were worldly people. But we have the organization, there's young people in our organization. And yes, there were dances and little parties and cotillions and things to do. But you had to be in the clique to be invited to those. You had to be spiritual and get so many hours out in service and be close to the pillars of the congregation. And if you were one of the fringe kids, which I was one of the fringe kids, I wasn't in that clique. I wasn't invited to go to the parties. So I'm not invited. I can't go to the school stuff and I can't go to the Jehovah's Witness stuff. So I'm just here. And what happens to a lot of youth in the Jehovah's Witness faith is they find something to console them. My thing was food. At one time, I weighed almost 400 pounds because I found solace in food. Food was always there. It was comforting. It was delicious. Didn't ask any questions. Never made me feel bad. And I find a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses are obese. And I think that has a lot to do with it. And a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses have mental health issues as well as a direct result of how they were brought up. And again, my parents did the best they could. And again, I fully believe that my parents loved me with everything that they had. But they were misinformed. They were misinformed. They were misled. And because they were misled, they misled us too. Another thing I can think about being a teenager in the organization. Those of you who are still in or out now, you kind of know about the elders' children. Now, some of them were fabulous, pillars of society, of the congregation, and they did everything by the book, and they were really devout and doing the right thing. But then you also have these elders' children who felt like, well, my father's an elder. I can kind of do what I want to do, because, even if I do something bad, my dad can kind of pull strings a little bit, and I've just got to get popped on the hand. I saw that so many times. so many times. The double standards. And there's a lot of stuff that goes on. And, you know, still current Jehovah's Witnesses, if you're here and you know you're not supposed to be here, you're going to get in that back door, I'm telling you. But I'm glad you're here. I really am glad you're here. Because just the fact that you're here, and you say that you might be trying to defend Jehovah's name and all that, but you know that you're not supposed to be here. You know that you're not supposed to be here. So, sorry about that. My grandson walked in. But anyway, being a young person in the organization, trying to navigate in school is difficult. And then, you know, you're invited, you know, there were times where I was invited to go to sleepovers at school. Couldn't do that because they were worldly. And again, I think there was maybe one or two people that I did go to sleepovers with that were in the Jehovah's Witness faith, but they were the fringe children too, which was great, which was great. At least I had somebody then. And then too, let's talk about the assemblies. Let's talk about the assemblies. That was my favorite time, is to go to the assemblies, because that was a time where we would put our best clothes on and make ourselves look as pretty as we can, because we're going to see new people. And at the time I was like 15, 16 years old and becoming interested in boys then. So I wanted to look as cute as I could, you know, and what we would do is we would get there early and we'd find our seats, put our books and stuff, whole row, y'all know, put our books and shawls and lunch bags or whatever in our seats. And then we would start walking. Just walking round and round the Astrodome. Remember the Astrodome, guys? I'm from Houston. And we would walk up and down, all the tiers, up and down, because we needed to be seen. We needed to be seen. So just walking around, and the young men did the same. And you could see the sisters and the brothers, and as they're walking past and checking each other out, and the brothers leaning against the wall, watching the sisters go by. Maybe that was our online dating. I don't know. But that part was fun. And then we get in our seats and start, the assembly would start. And then it seems like every 20, 30 minutes, you had to go to the bathroom, because now the halls were everybody was seated down. So now you could kind of really get a good look at the people who were cruising, who was looking, because you would see them. They wouldn't be in their seats watching the speaker. They'd be in them hallways, running around and talking to each other, smiling, and, you know, what congregation do you go to? And put their names down, write them in your Bible, or y'all know. That part was fun. Never made any connections there, but it was fun doing that. And then to young people, young adults in the congregation now. If you were overweight, or if you were funny looking, or not one of the chosen of the group, you were pretty much kind of like on your own. And for me, at the age of, let's say, because I started picking up weight probably about the age of 14, 15 years old, I really started ballooning. And by the time I was, I want to say 18 years old, I was at 276 pounds. I remember that. 276 pounds at 18 years old. Not too many brothers were interested in me at all. Now, some of the older brothers were interested in me that had 3 teeth and that wore their pants up to here. No. No. I ain't that desperate. Not yet. But It's difficult. And the brothers that are in good standing with the congregation, they're looking for the youngest and the prettiest and the shapeless sisters there are. And the rest of them, you're on your own. So I remember several sisters that were maybe a little bit older, or a sister that had, a child early on. The undesirable sisters we were not allowed to date outside of the Jehovah's Witness religion, and if you did, that was taboo, and you were already in bad shape to start with. And if you dated someone, you're dating a worldly person, an unbeliever. Ew. That was frowned upon. And what the elders would do, there would be local needs. Evidently, one of the sisters maybe kind of decided to dabble a little bit, and they had to have like an announcement, or what they call it is what do they call it? The needs of the local needs of the congregation. And you knew that somebody's been doing something, because whenever they have a local needs, something has happened in our congregation. And there was several times it was mentioned that young sisters or older sisters are being preyed upon by these worldly men, and sisters need to be careful. And we understand that you're lonely, but you have to wait on Jehovah, and all of that. So it was difficult for a lot of us. Anyway, I can go on and on and on and on. And I'm sure other religions have similar stories like that, but I'm speaking specifically about Jehovah's Witnesses and my experience. Anyway, I'll close now because I see my grandson coming. Anyway, till next time, guys. Again, if you have any questions about specific things, I'm going to be talking about the blood issue, because I was faced with that as well at one point in my life. Going to be touching on different subjects, because I'm seeing that I'm looking at the views when I speak more about my experiences being in that Jehovah's Witness organization. I'm getting a lot of responses there. And again, guys, I see that I'm seeing the views, but if what I'm saying resonates with you, hit the like button. Give me an idea, because I see that I'm getting lots and lots of views, but not too many likes. So is that because you don't like what I'm saying, or you forgetting to hit the like, or whatever? But just for some confirmation, let me know, okay? Anyway, till next time, guys, I love you. Love and light. Positive vibrations always. Till next time.